This is the Lighthouse Siege, a LEGO Ninjago set that features a setting first seen in the second season of the show quite some years ago, that was then reused and revisited in Season 6. The quality and level of detail of this build reminds me of the Temple of Air-Jitsu set, which is intentionally very high praise, but this is scaled back a little bit and leans a little bit more in the direction of action features. Now the action features are integrated into this quite nicely, starting with this step section right here, which, looks a little bit different. Just that plateau right there. You can see that maybe there's something going on with it, and you see some Technic pieces along the side, but they don't have any bright red, knob sticking way out or some sort of lever with yellow and red and blue or anything. They just have this little section with a vine sticking out to the side, and that's the actuator for the trap. The way it works, you simply pull this out as a pin and the section falls back. From the side it doesn't look quite so good and complete, but you can see that behind there is a little prison cell. So a person who goes into the trap ends up down in the cellar, which has this prison cell with a barred up door. And I'll show you that better from the inside, but it is quite awkward that this is open on the side. So I think somebody could actually escape pretty easily as long as they're thin enough. Turning my attention back to the main entrance, assuming that somebody makes it past that trap by walking around it, we've got a nice door here with a very large sticker on it that just makes it look textured. When you open that up, there can be another trap inside. Now this one does not go off automatically, but you can see kind of a bolt right there on the opposite side. This is easier to see from here. Once again, it just has a spring-loaded shooter, so if somebody opens the door, you do have to activate that yourself from here, but it's just lined up perfectly, so you can take a shot from here and that would go straight out through the door. Returning once again to the door, assuming that someone didn't get hit by that or they've come back to make another attempt, there's yet another trap that you can activate yourself from up above. And this is all based on what actually happened in the episode. There's a spring that came through here in the actual show. And this one had some pots and pans that would fall from above. Well, you've got this kind of flap here of the roof that can be opened up. In this case, they do have a bright red actuator on the side of the thing to make it work. But this has just a kind of a panel built container inside of there, and you can put whatever you want in there. Right now I've just put some spare studs in it from this set, and you just turn this on the side and out comes the stuff. It just dumps it down below. Now that's enough for traps for now, but I did want to show you the rest of the detail of this thing from the outside, especially from the front. A couple of crossbow style stud shooters up here, so a couple more gray studs can be used just for kind of point defense, especially against air attacks. And there is one additional action feature which is pretty key here. This is supposed to be a weather vane. It's a little bit loose. That's awkward to me, but it's not too bad. It's not going to fall out or anything, but this can be pushed down to remotely activate a light brick. This actually does come with an electronic light brick, and you push that down and this all lights up, and it lights up pretty nicely. It's got a little bit of lensing effect. They actually put a yellow crystal inside of that kind of globe piece there, so it gives it a little extra tint, and the light does spread all the way around from every angle. Of course, in a well-lit situation, you're not going to see that light quite as well, but as long as you're indoors in any sort of shade, you don't have a lot of light just pointing at it, it actually glows pretty nicely. It's too bad that they don't give you an easy way to make that just stay on, but they don't want you to be able to accidentally wear out the batteries. The batteries are very small in those light bricks. Now coming down the side, we've already seen everything all the way up to the top of this. Might as well show you the outside over on this side. You can see that there's a what do you even call this? A slide rail kind of element. You can, hook up somebody who has a hook or some sort of weapon that can be connected to that to allow you to slide around that. I'll try to do a little bit of experimentation with that later on. But this side here is climbable, has some handholds, footholds, a little bit of texturing around the side. And then down at the base, of course, you've got, rock faces and some algae and some vines that are growing around. Really nice to get these old Baraki minifig like head tail type pieces in just a regular green color, and you get a bunch of them with this set. It's supposed to be a mailbox, but you can't actually open it. You know, the envelope is just attached to the outside. Here's a small saber or cutlass of some sort that's just supposed to be hidden behind that rock there, but you can get to it pretty easily. And around the side here, this is kind of intended to represent inside of the rock. So this is where the whole thing is sliced open just for the sake of access, you know, to get minifigures in there and to play with the thing and to be able to see what's going on the inside. To make it much easier to see what's going on inside, they've got a lamp, kind of a torch over here that you pull up. That's a pin that locked the whole thing together, and now all of this can open up. Now you notice when I open that up, there's something that moves, and I'll try to zoom in on that. Look right in the center of your screen. See where those light gray slopes are inside of there? Those will come down on their own. It's nicely done. Kind of becomes a ladder element to help your figures to get up higher. Now that this thing is open, here's a better look at the prison cell area down below, and you can open that up to get access. There's one of those studs that I dropped from up above, but you see how open it is around the sides, around the frame behind there. So it's not the best look for even imagining that being a truly, you know, impenetrable place. So it's one of those things where you see somebody is going to get caught, but then they're going to get loose. This next level doesn't really have anything for play or anything. Everything's going to be over on our left. And this next level up above that just shows the mechanism for the dropping trap that has kind of a hopper where you put stuff inside of there. Over on this side is where all the good stuff really is, and this is the little workshop down in the basement. Oh, there's one thing that I almost missed. The mirror where Narukon shows up. So they put that right there. That's the mirror before it gets broken so that he can't see any further, and by that time it was already too late. That's a really good sticker and a nice homage to a pretty key point in this part of the story in this episode. So this is the workbench over here. It has some tools on it, and you can also do some work on Zane, or Zane's kind of not quite twin brother, so to speak. You know, you can place him on here, and almost looks like the bed or whatever, the stand that Frankenstein worked on his monster on. So that's a little bit awkward, but you know, it's just intended to work with Nindroids or anything humanoid sized and shaped. And on this workbench, it's a little bit tough to get an angle to see it, but there's a blueprint there, and I'll take that off. And there you go. It shows that Zane was being worked on down here. The next level up has more workspace, of course, and more tools up on the wall there, and another blueprint. This one is showing the exterior design of the Falcon. This is the level with the main door entrance, so this is the one that has the spring-loaded shooter there, and there's also a little hopper over here for some dynamite or TNT. I guess in this case you can use it against your enemies, although in the episode where this showed up in Season 6, dynamite actually was shot into this place or thrown into it. The next level up has a nice little dining area here with an interesting upside down table with I guess a bamboo cup and a plate and a couple of small mats to sit at. There's a map up on the wall, and if you've seen the episode, you're familiar with the fact that at one point a table gets flipped up and there's a bunch of extra stuff under there. So that is intended to be the syringe with the Tiger Widow venom, and there's also a sai, and there's something else. This 1x2 tile with a sticker on it represents a minifig scaled playing card like they've introduced previously, and this one is for the Overlord, it appears. The next level up has a couple of golden katanas there, and that's supposed to be the teapot of Tyron. I don't know why it's here in such a ceremonial sort of pose. It's also unfortunate that they weren't able to do a printed piece for that, but if you just want to see it as just a plain teapot, you can, because I don't know, it's kind of up to your imagination at that point. They just supply the element. It's also a life preserver ring here, and that just does it. You've already seen the detail up here. There you go. Now sometimes LEGO seems to include a selection of minifigures that doesn't entirely make sense for a scene, or they leave out things that really should have been included in a given scene, you know, for a set that's based on a scene or a specific setting from, you know, something from a movie or from a TV or show or something. But this selection here is perfect. On the good guy side, you get Jay, Nia, Echo Zane, and they gave this one a name. It's the Tai D robot, they call it. Although I wish its head had been printed onto a cone piece instead. It would have been a more correct shape there. Maybe they have a little bit of trouble printing onto the upper part of a cone. I'm not sure, but it looks pretty good. It is pretty bulked up here, especially on the front and back, but that's a cool little thing. And that is a print, not a sticker on there, so that's a collectible piece. I think that this figure is probably the most valuable thing in this entire set, though, of Echo Zane. I think that's one that you know, real serious fans of Ninjago are going to want to hold on to forever. It's very memorable character, and I hope to see more of that used in the Ninjago universe in the future. All of these figures, I think, look really good. Only Jay gets an alternate face out of these, though. You do get some nice printing on the back of Echo Zane's head there with the plug-in port point, and there's just a better look at the main faces from the fronts. On the bad guy side, you get Goro from Mortal Kombat, or you could call him Natakan the Jin if you want to. I mean, if you want to. This is Flintlock here, fully armored up with the shoulder armor on, and this is Clancy, who gets a weaponized version of a broom here with a barb at one end. This is Squiffy, one of the newer recruits, who actually put in his hand kind of a working flintlock. It doesn't really fit in the hand all that well. I mean, it fits, but it's not that great for play because it's going to fall off pretty easily. It doesn't attach to the hand too easily. It starts to want to get loose very quickly. But that is a cool idea, to be able to actually shoot something. But I think it works better if you just clip something directly into their hands with the style of shooter that has a bar on it for a proper handle. Let's look at all of these from their different angles. Good eye print for Clancy on the side. Take a look at them from the back, and as far as seeing what's underneath there, no alternate faces. Here are the main face prints, though. The Jin Blade is included, and here it's expressing the power of Lloyd, the green ninja. And last up, the Sky Pirates get a jet to be able to fly around a bit, and obviously it has a 6-shooter on the front. You can fire that by just rotating kind of the exhaust back here. It's connected all the way through to actually shoot off those studs and make them go absolutely everywhere. You can adjust the angles of these wings a bit. You can bring them down a bit more, bring them up. They're just kind of, you know, attached. Each pair is attached because they're on the same axle together, but it does give you a little bit of variability there. This is a sticker, that's a printed piece. This is actually a printed piece, and you put a figure in just sitting here, and you could align up the lever, you know, kind of control there to get into a hand, but I'm just too lazy to do that right now. All told, it is a pretty nice playset that definitely looks good on display. It comes with a very nice selection of figures. To be honest with you though, to me, seeing this thing in person, it doesn't look and feel quite as cool as I expected it to when you look around the back side and you look around the interior of it. I think mostly because the interior spaces feel a bit more cramped than I expected them to from looking at pictures, you know, the pictures that they use for the official images on the website and on the box and such are just perfectly lit. But in reality, most of the time, you're not going to get that much light in there. You're not going to get that much space because it doesn't open up completely. It only opens up 90 degrees. And I feel that those things kind of limit it a bit from a play perspective, and also displaying it just completely open or not looking at it just from the front. The whole interior has a bit of a dungeon-y feel, which I guess is actually appropriate given the interior, you know, the cramped interior spaces of the Lighthouse, with not much in the way of windows and such, but for something to play with, it just takes some of the energy away from it, I think. It's not a cool, dark, dungeon-y feel. It's just a cold and bland gray dungeon-y feel to me. But that's it for my thoughts on this one, and now it is your turn to share what you think about the set, regardless of what I think. So thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing your thoughts shared as comments down below, and other viewers appreciate seeing that as well. My next video is on the way soon, so stay tuned and I'll catch you later.